The Yankee and the Brit, yes, Yankee and the Brit. One is a genius, the other's a twit. On the radio, the beans have been spliced.
Hey!
Well, hey there.
Well, hello there, sir. This is Adam C. Martin. Say hello, Adam.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there tonight?
Awesome, awesome. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Florida.
Florida.
Oh, you're standing under a palm tree?
No, I'm not that part of Florida. I'm kind of like I'm surrounded by like orange trees and cattle and like the middle of the state. So I'm not a big beach guy.
Oh, you get to have some fresh OJ. Reach up and have one for me.
There we go. All right, I'll pull one down and save it for you.
Or if you're a nice kind of guy, you'll reach up and grab a couple for me and give them a good squeeze, and then you can have an orange.
Well, you know, that's always an option. I'm never one to shy away from a good squeeze.
I don't know. Could be a lawsuit.
I'm the same about butt cheeks in a hot pair of jeans.
Good, you know, I mean, and if you're going to get the orange juice, you know, sometimes you'd also then just grab the vodka and just go for the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, good screwdriver.
That's right. See, we're going to get along just fine.
That's what I
Yes,
thought.
we are.
You look like a fine kind of guy.
I wouldn't go that far.
So, what's the story, man? Where's all this great music come from? We played a couple of your tunes already. Wow, talk about kick-ass.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. You know, it's I like to say, you know, you just make it all up, and that's kind of what happens. But
So when did you start making it all up?
actually, not too long ago. I've really been playing music and writing and singing for about maybe 8 or 9 years. Seriously, for about the past 4.
That's it?
That's it.
So, do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I'm 41 right now.
What? Yeah, I'm just totally amazed. There are so many guests that we have, and they're all like, oh, I've been doing it 3 or 4 years. It's like, I always thought this was something that took years to develop, and you guys come on the show here and you just kick ass.
Well, you know, I mean, it's when I was a kid, you know, the only thing I knew how to play was a radio. And I mean, I've always had a love for music. I mean, I remember buying vinyl records and 45s, and then of course cassettes and CDs, and then I spent some time in the U.S. Army. I spent 15 months in Iraq in 03 and 04, and came back home and struggled, like a lot of soldiers and warriors do. And after struggling for several years, at the suggestion of actually a counselor, I knew I needed some help. And they said, why don't you learn to play an instrument? So I borrowed a guitar. I started watching YouTube videos, and I taught myself how to play.
I'll be damned. Well, salute to you, by the way.
Hey, thank you.
Unbelievable. It's just amazing because the sound is like you've been doing it for 30 years.
I wish. Yeah, I'd probably be a lot further along than I am.
Do you think playing music has actually helped you?
Oh, God, yes. Yeah, it brought such a balance back to my life that, and that's so many of my songs now that I write are about my military experience. And I try to give back to veteran organizations as often as I can. And because if it can help me, it can help someone else. And music may not be everybody's thing, but if they could find something that can bring that balance back to their life, then we've helped out our brothers and our sisters. And that's what, to me, that's what being a soldier is about. It's looking out for the person to your left and to your right.
Well, I don't want to get into detail, but I just want to ask on a roundabout way, did you see anything really nasty while you were in the service?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We were there. I was there in the very beginning. So the initial invasion into Iraq was March of 03, and my company landed boots on ground in May of 03. So we were there in the very beginning of the war. And what we did, we did convoy escort security. So we were providing security for supply convoys from the border of Kuwait and Iraq up into a camp about 75 miles north of Baghdad. And so our convoys in our company, we were hit with sniper fire, small arms fire, IEDs, car bombs, mortars. So we saw every bit of that. So it was an adjustment, when you live and breathe survival, and not just survival, but a mission to accomplish. And I was an NCO, I was a sergeant, so I also had soldiers that I had to make sure were taken care of. When you live and breathe that for so long, and that's your primary focus, you come back home to a world that is, in some ways, seems very now foreign to you, and people that don't understand kind of where you've been, what you've seen, and what you've experienced. and those don't work. It's the old square peg round hole, and and it's an adjustment. Luckily, I mean, I had some good people behind me and some really good and counselors, and now on the other side of it, I see so many of my brothers and my sisters that still are struggling, and and if music can help me, it can help someone else, and even if they can't play music, maybe it's a song I write or something they hear, and that just encourages them to go out and maybe get some help.
Well, thank you for sharing that. My whole point to the beginning of the question was the fact that you believe now that the music you do and learning how to play an instrument, that's kind of helps set your soul free from that?
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
And that's how I can talk about it. I write about it, I sing about it. And it's one of those things that I don't mind talking about, because if I can talk about it and I can do it, then maybe that'll inspire someone else that, maybe they can talk about things too, and kind of, like you say, free their soul. Maybe that might be burdened in some way. But and on top of that, man, it's fun. God, this is so much fun.
Feels great, doesn't it, to let that out?
It does. I mean, and not just, and from that side of it, but heck, I mean, being on stage and being able to play music that I write, and then have an audience reaction to it. Hopefully you got some good reactions from some of it tonight, and it's just, and not all my songs are related to military. I tuned in a little bit, and you were playing the train song. Has nothing to do with military service, but it's just, to me, it's good Southern rock music, and I don't think we have enough of that out there.
No, we do
today.
not. And the reason I played it is because I'm a train guy, so it's like I got to learn this a couple times.
So did you pay attention to the words to it? And,
no, not yet. I haven't had a chance to really dig in deep, but I will, believe me, because it's got that beat, that I could just, when I was a truck driver, that was the kind of stuff I like to listen to.
Okay.
So I'll definitely get deep into it. Did you write all these songs? Southern Ground, Stay Strong, Tonight We Ride?
That's correct. I did, yes.
Beautiful work, I'm telling you. And who's your band? Where did they come from?
I've gone through several different band members. So right now the band, the only kind of permanent band member I have is my lead guitarist. His name's Jeremy Chestnut. But right now, I mean, I don't have a full-time drummer or a bass player, so I just, use guys or friends that when I have full band shows or kind of band for hire guys. But doing a lot of solo kind of acoustic work right now. I've got an acoustic duo tour this summer. Jeremy and I are going to go out and hit a few states, kind of promote the album, and so it's bands. They're fickle.
Yeah, I guess.
But I mean, everyone that I've ever had the pleasure to play with, they're all super talented guys, and for one reason or another, it works out or it doesn't work out. How
do you manage to go from one band to another and they still can play the music that you hear in your head? How is that possible?
Well, I mean, it's luckily when you have recordings, it's easy. But when sometimes you go into the recording studio, what I would do is whenever I had written a new song and kind of brought it to the band or took it to the studio to record, I kind of told them the story behind it. And every song that I write has some element of truth to it.
Thank you.
Some are a lot more truthful than others. Like Tonight We Ride is pretty much 100% truth song about what my company did in Iraq on these convoy missions. Southern Ground is another one that's 100% truth. The way it starts out, my great-granddad was a farming man who picked cotton, and that's what he did. He wasn't a cotton farmer or owner. He was a picker, and he would go out and he'd pick cotton to supplement the income to help take care of his family. But like the train song, it's a very different type, but there's elements of truth to everything.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know that cotton grew in a field until I got to Texas. I was thinking, how the hell do sheep grow wool on the backs, but cotton is grown in a field?
Just
it's kind
shave
of
it
crazy.
But yeah, so it's you take these songs, and then what I would do is I would start by telling the band the story behind it. The story behind the lyrics and how I came to write the song, what feeling I wanted for the song, if I wanted something driving and hard. And then you kind of just play around with it, and you have a great drummer or a great lead guitar player, and you're like, I want that part, but no, I want this over here. And, it's just kind of like a meeting of the minds, and you end up with a sound, and that is just what you hear on the record.
It's beautiful. I got to tell you, it makes me think of the Wrecking Crew that Glenn Campbell was part of back in the day.
Oh yeah.
They played backup music for just about everybody back in the day, and if you know who I'm talking about, I mean, they pulled everything together. It didn't matter who they were playing for. They just, they all came together on every different kind of music, and it was all great stuff.
Yeah, when you have really talented musicians and that understand it, and I'm new to this, I relatively am. I can't read a lick of music. I don't know how to read music. I don't understand music theory. I've never studied it.
Well, that was what I was about to ask you. Was that a lot of musicians can't actually read music, and I wondered, if you approach some different musicians, how do you tell them what to play? How do you tell them what feel you want to the song? And the notes and things, you know what I'm saying?
And as far as individual notes, I can't tell them, I want you to play, this arpeggio. I don't even know that I can spell arpeggio, but, and being able to tell them, okay, I know enough to say, okay, this song is in the key of G or A, and this is the chord progression for it. And I understand enough to know what chords go in what keys and progressions and how to put them all together. But that's just kind of by ear that I've learned how to do all of that. So I'll tell them it's this, and then it goes to this chord or that, and in this space. And I play acoustic guitar, so that helps a lot with when I write. I can kind of drive the rhythm and get kind of like an idea of how I want the other instrumentation to be in a song. So writing the lyrics and knowing the feeling behind it, and then being able to have a melody and play it on a rhythm guitar helps, kind of direct the band into the sound that I'm looking for.
Keith Sampson is in the chat. He's another great country artist that we have on our show. We play a lot of his tunes.
Welcome, Keith. Thanks for tuning in.
Another one, first thing he said was a great story, and before that, where is it over here? He said, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it, Keith.
I didn't want that to go by.
No, thank you. Proud Americans.
Anybody else in your family musically inclined?
No one before me. I do have a daughter, my youngest daughter. She's 16, and she kind of got it from me, and she can sing. I mean, she's got a voice like, oh my gosh, it's so pure and clean, and she can play ukulele. So she's kind of and she's a tiny little thing. So she'll eventually work her way up to guitar, I think. But yeah, she's gotten really good, and she's a vocalist, and she's actually on a couple songs on the record. On the new record, Southern Ground. So she's doing some harmony vocals on a few songs with me.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's a great tune, man. I played that first out of the hole here. Man, does that sound good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the title track off the album.
Well, we've been getting into new music because, the Nashville sound is old to me after,
It's not just old, it's terrible. I think most of it sounds like ass.
Yeah, I didn't want to actually just beat it to death because I really could. I could go on a rant about how ridiculous it is. But point is, you and Keith Sampson and Steve Hickman and there's a whole list of guests that we've had on the show over the last few years. All this new music is this independent music. You consider yourself an independent artist?
Oh, I'm completely independent. Completely self-funded. I go out and I play weekends and I play shows and and everything that I make from it is what goes towards making the album and recording. I don't have a manager. I don't have an agent. I don't have a record label. It's hustle, and it's work, but it's so rewarding, and I get to write what I want to write. I play what I want to play, and I get to be me. I don't have to put on an act. I don't have to put on a show. And if I want to say that so much on FM country right now is shit, then I can say that.
Yeah.
And because it's what I believe, and it's what I feel. No, and I'm not. Matter of fact, I saw a little meme today. It was on Instagram or something, a picture of Johnny Cash, and it said, "I'd rather be hated for being who I am than loved for being fake."
Exactly.
And so this is me, and this is my music, and it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and I don't have to be.
Cup of tea.
Yeah, well, I know Brits like their tea. I like mine cold and sweet. Being from the South.
Nothing like a good glass of cold tea.
No, you
That's
need
right.
a nice hot cup of tea with some milk and some sugar.
Are you originally from Florida?
My father was career Army, so I grew up kind of all over, but mostly from the South. He's originally from Florida. I was born in Virginia and lived in North Carolina, and also spent some time when I was a young kid in Japan and Maryland, and lived 2.5 years in Hawaii. But moved to Florida when I was probably about 15 when he retired, and pretty much been here since, with the exception of about 15 months over in the Middle East. But I like it. The part of Florida I live in, it's a little more agricultural, a little more, people don't realize it, but in Florida we got our rednecks and we got our country boys and big jacked up trucks, and that's what I like.
Speaking of trucks, well, let me back up here. I had another question. Now I forgot. Okay, we'll go back to the trucks. Do you have a truck now? I
do. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting in it at the moment while we're talking. So
what is it?
I have a Toyota Tundra.
Ah, come on.
Oh, that was the wrong
That's
answer.
not redneck.
I didn't say I was redneck. I said we have them here. I didn't say I was. I don't consider myself a redneck. I'm a Southern guy, but not a redneck.
All right. I'll give you that. Oh.
And you know what's funny though is I was looking at a thing the other day and looking at everybody talks about buy American, and there are the factories and stuff that are here in the U.S. That a Toyota Camry has more parts made and assembled in the U.S. than the Chevy Malibu.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, but that's Chevy. I wouldn't have one if you
right.
Gave
but I'm
me
just
one.
saying,
Yeah.
So,
are you still on active duty?
I am not. No, I got out completely in 2007.
So, what do you have a regular job?
I do. I have a full time, pretty much Monday through Thursday job that I work, and then play music on the weekends and when I can.
Very cool. So do you have, where boy, I got so many questions. Where did you do your recording at? Nashville or around Florida somewhere?
Oh, no. There's a great recording studio in Fort Myers, Florida. It's about an hour and a half from me, called The Vibe. And just some amazing people, great engineers, great producer down there named Julian Sundby that I got connected with. And I recorded my first EP there, recorded two singles down there, and then this album, Southern Ground, recorded there as well.
Oh, the sound is great coming out of that place.
Yeah, they are just phenomenal. And some of the musicians that we had on the record, as much as I don't like a lot of the modern country sound that's out there, the people that play the music, the musicians, phenomenal guys. On two of the songs on this record, Southern Ground, and then another one called Bipolar Princess. I don't know if I sent that one to you guys or not.
No, you didn't, but I like the title.
Yeah, and again, there's an element of truth there. But on those two tracks, I actually have it's James Cook and Kent Slucher, and they are the current bass player and drummer for Luke Bryan. So they're playing on those tracks.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, and great guys, super nice guys.
Yankee and the Brit on a Country Saturday Night. We're talking with Adam C. Martin. Now you call your band the Blackbird Anthem, or do you go by your name?
Yep. Nope. The band is Blackbird Anthem.
Okay, That's how I labeled it. But everything that you sent came through under your name, so I wasn't quite sure how that was working.
Yep. No, it's if I book kind of solo shows and I kind of book under my name, you can't really book a whole band and it's just one guy that shows up. But if it's
yeah, right.
And if I ever put out like a little solo or an acoustic record, which that might be happening here pretty soon, then that'll probably be out under my name. But anything band and full band shows is Blackbird Anthem. That's
very good. Where can people find you at? I'm sure you have a Facebook page, of course.
I do. So Blackbird Anthem. If you look up that name under anything. I'm the only Blackbird Anthem band that's out there. I was very careful when choosing a band name. And so we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We got a YouTube channel, Spotify. We're on Spotify. And then The older stuff you can download already on iTunes and Amazon and Google. And the new record, Southern Ground, you can pre-order it now, and then it'll be in your Dropbox on February 16th. So a little less than 2 weeks away on that.
How did you come up with the name Blackbird Anthem?
Kind of two areas, or I guess one of my favorite artists of all time is Johnny Cash. And it sounds kind of cliche, but I love the way he could tell a story. Absolutely. In a song. Just an amazing storyteller in his writing and the way he presented the story in the song. So, and he was often called the dark bird of country music. I mean, he would dress in black. And matter of fact, when he first started playing, he was considered rock and roll. I mean, he was touring with Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis, and he wasn't even with the country guys, because at the time that was Hank Sr. And so a very different sound. So Johnny Cash is one. And then probably my all-time favorite band, and I've loved these guys since I was in high school. They came out my senior year, and that's the band called Counting Crows. And Counting Crows, I've seen them live probably at least 14 times. And when you go see them live, it's an experience. It's not just a concert. They put so much emotion and passion into their music, and it's nothing like it sounds on the record, which I love. If I want to hear the record, I'll put the record on. But a live show, I want something a little unique and different. So we had the Crows aspect from Counting Crows, Dark Bird from Johnny Cash, and so that's where Blackbird came from.
Beautiful.
Then Anthem. What's that?
That's a story in itself right there.
Yeah, I'm I'm a very symbolic kind of person, So then Anthem, I'm like, if I could write songs and tell stories like Johnny Cash, and if I could perform like Counting Crows does, then to me, that's what music needs to kind of get back to and should be about. So an anthem is a rally cry. An anthem is, this is what it should be. So Blackbird Anthem is where it came from.
Well done. Are any of your videos, what do I want to say, professional videos, I guess, for lack of a better way?
No, I don't have any. Everything is either an iPhone recording or an iPad. I do want to record some videos. I have some ideas, but being self-funded, it's I had to put everything right now into this album. But I do have some ideas for a couple of the videos and some things coming up, but nothing professional yet.
Yeah, what you were talking about live, I love to watch a good live show, and we can't leave the business for very long. We do T-shirts and signs and things, so we really can't just disappear. But I can sit and watch YouTube while I'm working and things, and it's nice to watch some good live videos once in a while and see what the people look like that we talk to too.
Yeah, some of the ones are, I actually, every now and then, I've done it once, I need to do it again, is I'll do just a weekend Facebook Live concert, and I'll play for about an hour on Facebook, and people can type in and request songs. I'll do a little storytelling, and that's a lot of fun. I enjoy that.
I was going to ask you.
Look for one of those coming up.
I was going to ask you what you thought about Facebook and, doing a live video. Do you think it's... I've asked quite a few people, and the majority say that they think it's worth it. I just wonder what your thoughts were on it.
I do, and it's a great way to be able to reach directly to fans, to reach directly to the people that are hearing your music, and going to a concert with 10, 20,000 other people, where you're looking at the artist on stage, and they're about the size of a Lego. That's one type of music experience, but if you can kind of be right there in front of them, and they can text or type in a question, and then just a minute or two later, you can answer that question, much like you guys are doing with your show. You have the people that type in and get your chat rooms. Well, imagine being able to do that with an artist that you enjoy the music with.
Oh, yeah, we have, a couple of good friends do live videos, and, I think people feel more connected when they can actually kind of feel like they're with you, talking to you, and I know it sounds a little, I don't know, but they're like, oh, boy, I got to talk to him, that kind of thing.
And but for me as a songwriter and as an artist, I want that engagement. I want, to be able to give fans and listeners that experience, because that's something that I would want from, an artist or a singer that I heard a song and felt a connection to in some way. So I try to give fans things that I would want as a fan of another artist.
So what music did you grow up listening to?
It's very similar stuff to what I play now. My dad had an extensive record collection and a vinyl, and it was Leonard Skinner and Hank Jr. and Elvis, and but he also had like Kiss and Eagles, and so very much that country and rock and southern rock is what I grew up listening to. And then of course as a young kid, in the 80s, I developed an interest. I loved Guns N' Roses and a lot of the hair bands and stuff. And 90s, you go through the teen angst. I bought the Nirvana album, Pearl Jam 10, and still love that alternative grunge. And then Counting Crows. So I have a very eclectic taste in music, but what I naturally gravitate to as a writer and as a performer is kind of that gritty southern rock sound.
That's where home is for you, then, basically.
It is. Yeah, it's very much home for me. That's a great way to put it.
Are you familiar with Little Feat?
Oh yeah.
I don't hear anything like that anymore.
Well, and a lot of it is it's out there, but it's not on mainstream.
I wish more of them would come out and let us hear that music, because that's the stuff that us, my generation, I guess, that likes the southern rock, that's the kind of thing we're looking for, like your music, things like that. It's just not out there, and, thank God for Kelly Lee Phillips hooking us up with you and all these other people.
And I'll tell you where there's so much of that kind of music coming out of right now, and it's Texas. Texas has, there's a great southern rock band called Whiskey Myers that are they're getting out and they're doing some great things. Scooter Brown band, they're that great. They've just been opening for Charlie Daniels. They're out of Texas. Texas has got such an amazing music scene. I try to get over there and play about 3 or 4 times a year, and probably be doing about a 2-week run in Texas this summer. And they want to hear the live music. They want to hear new stuff. They want to hear original. And, they'll call it Texas Red Dirt.
Did you manage to get hold of that guy, or have you not tried yet?
Which one? Was it...
The one I said I couldn't remember the name of.
Oh. I have talked to a couple guys out of Texas. So we're working on some things, but I will be in the Houston area this summer, and maybe up into Dallas Fort Worth. Just kind of depends on where I can get booked, but I do. I get out to Texas about 3 or 4 times a year, and you can bet I'll be out there this summer for sure.
Beautiful. Well, we're up in North Texas, just off the Oklahoma border. There's also a couple places you want to consider too. One would be Denison, Texas, and one would be where the hell we honeymoon at over there? What the hell's it called? Denton, Texas. Great music scene over there. It's growing all the time over that way.
Tell you another guy that he kind of makes the run down through like Oklahoma and Texas. 2 guys. I'll send you their contact. One is Nick Sterling. Nick's a good friend of mine. He's a Purple Heart Army vet, and he's got a record coming out this month also. Him and we've played some shows together, and just a phenomenal artist. And then Padre Paul Handelman. He's a former Army Ranger, and he just had an EP come out. Very, very much, original type music and artists, and I think you guys would really enjoy their stuff, and maybe some future people to be on the show for you.
I love the name Padre. Very good.
Yeah, and he's an actual father. He performed a wedding ceremony and sent off to get his I'm not sure what you call it, and card carrying member.
Nothing wrong with that.
Padre Paul Handelman.
That's all right. You never know when you'll need one.
That's true. He can bless the whiskey before we drink it.
Don't bless my whiskey. I like it just straight out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Doesn't need any help from anybody.
And may help with the hangover in the morning.
I could only hope.
Yeah, right.
Anything you would like to add? I got a couple questions I'd like to ask you before we wrap it up. But are you working on? You said you're working on a new EP.
Well, no, the new album comes out in 2 weeks. So, but we may have an acoustic acoustic record coming out here maybe in the next few months. I want this new album to kind of get out there and do some stuff, but may have a little underground kind of bootleg acoustic thing that I may push out there here in a few months. We'll just have to see.
You said you do your live Facebook any particular time of the day that you do it at night, during the day?
And normally it's kind of on a weeknight. It's kind of later on a weeknight during the week. Because people go out on Fridays and Saturday nights, especially ones that like live music.
Right.
And, and call me crazy, but a lot of us, we believe in musicians that I talk to and hang out, like Nick and Paul and these guys. We believe in supporting each other and pushing each other forward. So I don't want to try to do something on a weekend that's going to cause someone to stay in the house and not go out and see some live music.
Well,
I may do it.
Go ahead.
I may do it on a Tuesday or Thursday or something in order to still, be respectful of the ones that are out there actually playing live that weekend.
Well, we got to. I got to get hooked up on your page over there so I can get a notice when those come on.
Yep. I'm really good about posting things up and when things are going to happen and where we're playing next.
Awesome. Well, let's see. A couple questions here, and then we'll cut you loose. I don't want to keep you all night, but I could just sit here.
Ask away.
These are really boring questions. I have to warn you.
That every damn
you might want to just put the phone down
boring
now.
Questions.
Yeah.
Okay. I put on my left shoe first, and then the sock. Go ahead.
How did you put your underpants on? Which leg first? Because these questions really are that boring.
Oh, I would say probably usually the left. It's usually the left leg first.
Oh my gosh, It's the left leg, husband.
Are you done now?
Go on then, ask him your boring 10 questions.
You're married, right?
I am, yes.
Any idea why?
You know exactly how Randy feels.
Let me borrow your idea so I can see what it's really all about. I seem to be missing something over here.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
You think?
I can't help you. I'm not a detective. I can't find what you're missing, but
all right.
I can help you write a song about it. But
where's that Padre at? I think I need him now.
There you go, Padre
Okay.
Paul Handelman.
Your first question is, what is your favorite word?
Oh, man, a favorite word. I've never been asked that question.
Now's the time to come
So-
up
You've
with
never
one.
been asked that boring question before. See, I told you it
No,
was boring.
I have a favorite saying, but I don't know if I have a favorite word. I don't know. Maybe it's just all right. All right. You gonna play this? All right. All right.
What's your least favorite word?
Oh, least favorite word. Probably jail.
I said word, not an experience.
Oh, well, you're going. I don't know. I never thought about that either. You're going to make me think about this and have to get back to you.
All right. Well, we ain't going anywhere. I hope not right away. Number 3,
right.
What turns you on?
Music.
What turns you off?
Intolerance.
What sound do you love?
The sound of a crowd.
What sound do you hate?
You would think that the answer would be silence, but it's not.
I love silence. I can't get enough.
I do too. That's where I write the best.
It actually strikes me as a very rare commodity at this point, in the world.
Yeah, no, I like silence. What sound do I hate?
Silence is golden.
Yeah. I don't like anything, any kind of chaotic sound.
I could relate to that. like
any. Yeah, I don't. I had a car bomb explode next to my Humvee, and so sometimes in rooms, if there's like a lot of talking and background noise, I have difficulty kind of hearing like if someone's like speaking directly to me. So like the white noise, and it sometimes it gets to be a little chaotic. And so chaotic noise that doesn't have like pattern or something, because it usually I just kind of gotta walk away from it.
All right.
This chaotic noise.
This is the internet. So what is your favorite curse word?
I'd probably shit.
What profession? That's all right. That's perfect. Mine is fuck.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Certainly
because
say it
literally when
more.
you said, what's my favorite curse word? I'm like, oh, shit, what would it? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, it's shit. So,
Oh, shit, it's shit.
yeah.
What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
Oh, I've had so many. I mean, I was a soldier. I mean, for a while, I was a full-time corrections officer. I worked at a state prison. I was a cop for a while. My full-time job now, I mean, I don't even think I told you what it was. I'm a college professor, so that's what I do full-time now. But if I didn't have music and I could choose a job, maybe acting.
What profession would you not like to do?
I would not want to go back to corrections or law enforcement work.
There you go. See, that was the easiest one we've had so far.
Yeah.
Number 10, 2 more. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done.
And 1 more. If you could have a party in the sky with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, my gosh. Just one person?
Anybody?
That's not a party.
We know it's going to be Johnny Cash.
Well, he'd be there, but I'd pull some of my closest friends, and we'd hang with Waylon and Johnny and Elvis and a lot of these pioneers of sound that just kind of took it, and even Kurt Cobain, and as just these pioneers of a new sound that said we're going to do something different, and if you like it, great. If you don't, then you don't. But yeah, just pioneers of sound, along with some of my closest music and buddies today.
Beautiful answer, every one of them. That's great. I don't think I could have come up with a better one than that. I guess my party in the sky with someone, it would be let's just say you and Johnny Cash, and of course you would have other people around you, but that would be your main bro at the time.
It would, I mean, I've read in so much of the story of his life and his music, and I mean everything from his days of being a drug addict and pills and the terrible spiral that he was in with his first marriage, and then such a beautiful relationship that he had with June Carter, and and everything with his gospel and the relationship that he had with his faith. I don't think you could have a more experienced man that lives such a long life. There's so much wisdom there, not just from the music, but just as a man and as a person.
Fantastic. Well, I could just sit here and talk with you all night long. I'm sure you got a lot of great stories, but we want to get a couple of your tunes on here, and we don't want to keep you from pursuing whatever it is you do.
All right. Well, just don't have a whole lot of plans tonight, other than at some point finding a bottle of whiskey when I get home and sip on a little bit of that, a little Kentucky bourbon.
Oh, baby. Well, when you find it, you tell it I said hello.
I will. So the Yank said hi.
All right, soldier. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, that's for sure.
Hey, no, appreciate you guys having me on, and I'll send you some info about Nick and Padre Paul too, and play the tunes, and encourage everybody, like us on Facebook. So much today is when you're trying to book venues, what's your following, what's your this. So all those likes, they help tremendously.
Absolutely. And send me that.
Spin us on Spotify.
Song. Send me that.
I will. I'll get it to you. You'll like it. It's the catch line of it is don't let that door hit you in the ass. So.
Do you have the lyrics for any of these songs anywhere?
Oh yeah. I'll get them to you.
I'd like the one for the train song, if anything. I think that's one I'd like to learn to sing along with.
That's kind of my ode to Johnny Cash. It's about a guy that his girl leaves him for another dude, so he goes down and kills him and ends up having a swing for it. So
can't beat that.
No, it's what it is. It's what a train song's about, right?
Well, it's
my
a beautiful
ode to
thing.
Johnny Cash.
That's right. My name's Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, my friend, very much for spending some time with us.
All right, thanks for having me on, and you guys have a great night.
You bet we will.
All right, good night.
Thank you. Blackbird Anthem, Tonight We Ride. Yankee and the Brit's the place to be. Radio living is the life for me. Airwaves spreading out so far and wide. Keep your FM, just give me that internet side.
Online is where I'd rather stay. I've got a lot of music to play. I just adore a Yankee view. Darling, I love you, but give me a show to do.
The Chat.
The Brats.
On air.
That's fair.
You are my wife.
Goodbye, British life.
The Yankee and the Brit on air.